There we go. Once again, let me welcome then everyone then to our today's session. So we've got this semester, guys, 5 chapters. This is chapter 9, basic job costing, followed then by chapter 12, then chapter 13, 14, and last it will be chapter 10. So mainly then at this semester, we are about then doing the reporting. So that's what we are going then to do. It's all about then doing then the reporting. So we report to what? You will recall then last year, looking at cost accounting, then you try then to talk more about elements of cost. That is your direct material, direct labor, and your manufacturing overheads. So once again, we are going to play around then elements, but now looking at a different sector, and we will see then how to do the reporting according then to each and every sector, because you may recall or remember that the sectors then they are different then from one. And also then their way of operation are also different. So we will look then, okay, now if then we're dealing then with this kind of an organization, what is best reporting use? That's what we are going to look at then in this semester. And we'll start then with chapter 9, which is called in the basic. So that's our very first chapter. And I won't waste our time then with those. Looking then at our introduction, they say an organization's costing method is designed to way goods are processed to manufactured or the way the service provided. So this is echo then what I've already said to you, that we look at a certain sector, their operations, then we come up then with the method it will suit then their production process. Therefore, we've got mainly 3 costing methods that then we adopted. First one is your process costing, job costing, and batch costing. But you don't need then to mind then about then the last one, which is then the batch costing, because we are no longer then making use then of this method at all. So basically then it left us then as your process costing and job costing. So those are the 2 methods then that we are going to look at it and see how to do then the report according to those methods. So let's move on. Now, when you look at your process costing system, they just give you then the snipping shot of it. Then they say that is where then the large number of, now look at that word, although we're still going to talk about this more, of homogeneous or similar products. So that's how then the process costing then a method is to the basic job costing. So we use then the process costing if then the company is manufacturing a similar product, then that method is suitable then for that production. All units are identical and all units have the same cost. So hence then I will find that then that method is the best method then to use on that kind of an organization. Then when we look at the job costing, is where then the heterogeneous or the different products then are made. Then the cost of each product or job separately. All the costs incurred then for a specific job are recorded on a job. Then the total cost of each job will therefore consist of direct material plus as well as your manufacturing overheads. So now then are those 3 elements that I was talking about. But once again, then I will be still playing then around those then now industry. Then when we do our reporting, products are manufactured according to specification and requirements of each individual customer, resulting then in unique, because then we're talking about different products here. So each and every product then, or each and every product that is unique, we're using different material for that particular product. So we cannot merge it or combine it with another product. In order then for us then to have a clear view of what we are talking about, then we will look at this then example then that we have. Now take then for argument's sake, then a company then like then your VW. So this is where then now you'll see then the job costing then are being used. Look at the number of cars and that are producing there in that company. They have got a different sets of then the cars. You've got your Arteon, you've got your Amarok, then you can name them as much as then you know all then the VW class standard that they have. Now think about the service. If then we've got all the customers who bought then the different sets of then these VW cars, when it comes then to the, we cannot draw up one job card for all of the cars saying that okay, today is 23rd, we'll have then a one job card for all the cars that we service on the 23rd. We'll need then to develop a job card then for each and every car then that we service, because this Arteon then is so different then to the Tiguan and your Amarok. Each car then has its own unique features. The service and it will differ. It means that the material that we'll use then for your one then are different Amarok, or then your Polo or your Golf, you can name them. So that's why then we said that the job costing then is then to use in order then to offer the service. So they'll make use of a job card and develop a job card for each and every where they're going to record and the material use service in that car, and also then the overheads that particular car. So that's what then is happening. I hope then by now then we see then what we're talking about when we talk about the companies that makes use of a job card, is because then of the different products that they have. One company, but it has got different products, so they have to make use of then the basic job card. Now we talk of then the circumstances in which then a job or costing is applicable. Then these are the requirements. One, now it means that we must have then the sound production control system, a comprehensive documentation system, an appropriate time recording system, an appropriate system for the pricing of material issued, labor analysis, and also the determination of manufacturing that's absorbed. Then in order to be able then to carry on then with our production, in that if then we want to make it, but it's easy then when with a company like your VW, where then they and has got a responsibility to record, okay, I've started and I'm working on this car at this particular time, and this is then the time then that I've stopped and I went working on this that I've changed, and all these are the material that I've used when I was doing the service of this particular car. And then these are also these overheads. So from there, then they can be able to determine the price that one is going to pay then for the particular service. Now we look at the requirements for a job. We say then for argument's sake, these are the following cars that are taken then for the service. You've got your Tiguan, you've got your Amarok. One is Do you think that labor hours and manufacturing overhead answer then is no, because then for the service of the same kilometers, but the material that is going to be used to each car then might be different than from the one that is going to be used then to another car. Then how are we going to create then this job costing card? Create a job costing card for these are the things that we enter then to that job card: your direct material, your direct labor hours, and your manufacturing overheads. And then all the job cost card in total represent the firm's work then in process. And a job costing system is used where it is used. So it means that we are going to look at the direct material for each and every car, direct labor and manufacturing for each then a car. As you can, so we can combine the two. So as we can see in this picture, so this is then that takes us through then the steps that we take then for the job card. Receipt of a customer request for a quote, in other words, or we can say the customer then make a request then to or book then for his or her car then to be serviced. Cost of job estimate are quoted and sent in to the customer order is received. If quotation is accepted, job commences, all cost of customer is invoiced, and the job then is delivered to the customer. If then it is happy. So what is you cannot combine then our job card and say that okay, who job A up to D, so we're going to combine then those job. We have then to separate them. That is how we do then our reporting use job card. So then that's the basic understanding, guys, then of then the job costing or the job or basic job costing. So that's what is all about then when we look at our slide. What I'm going to do now is so that we can see how to develop then the job card. I think also then this is going to also be helpful then for you when you go then to your teams, guys. Where are you going to get the information? So if then you are on team, as we are, so this is then our team. So you see sometimes when I'm on a tablet on my side, so features then are not the same as yes, this is where I want to be at. Let me wait. Now, if you look on that screen, guys, then away talking about post. The post then is what we are doing now. It's going then to tell you, okay, today we had then at this class and what have you, all those things. Then on the files, I think then this opens up then not for this cost then that we are looking for. Okay, this is where we are. I was lost a bit. So we go then to our files. Now, when you look at that files, now you'll see there are two folders there. So in those two folders, guys, then you've got a class material, you've got a live session recording. That's where then this recording is going to be kept. So if one needs then to go back to the recording, you'll go there and then you look at the recording. Then that's the first file, that's where then your class material it is. So you've got module 1 and module 2. So I said, okay, let me keep then these modules there. Then there's no need then for me then to take out module 2, because we know that now we are still on module 1 or semester 1. So you'll make use of that semester 1. Firstly, then you've got a folder for your basic job costing. You've got your contract costing, income statement, according to direct absorption, joint and buy, and your process costing. Don't mind then because then they are not then aligned according to our module guide, but they are scattered as you can see. But this is then the first one that we have then the basic job costing. So you'll go then to that basic job costing, then it takes you then to your PowerPoint presentation, the one that we just finished now, going through it. So you'll see there again, it will appear your introduction. So when we talk of the introduction, guys, it's a matter of telling you what is all about then this, and also what's going to be your criteria being used and your learning outcomes, as you can see. But what was now, let's look at then the first tutorial. Just then to see if then we did manage then to grasp a bit then from what we were talking about. So we've got then that tutorial number 1, where this is an example then of completed jobs. Then to learn a lot then about the completed job, then you can go then to your textbook on example 9.3, page 204. Is going then to explain then for you further then about the completed job. So it says that Adara Limited is a small manufacturer of wood products. It has one production department. The following are estimated figures for 2020. Factory overheads, you've been given 60,000, direct labor cost 80,000, direct labor hours 12,000 hours, machine hours 8,000 hours. Actual data for June 2020 were as follows. You've gotten the direct job numbers. Now can you see then when you look guys at our job numbers, we cannot combine. We can't say we've got 211 up to 216. And when we give you, then if you look at that column of direct material cost, we just add up that 2,000 up to 1,820. We need to keep separate then from one another to identify it for you. Over for this particular job, this is the material, this is the labor, these are the hours, these are machine hours, and this is also the date then the job that is being completed. So we keep then these things separate from one. They are unique then at these jobs, then we can't combine the two. And then this is what is required then for you. The first one, compute a predetermined absorption rate based on the following: direct labor cost, direct labor hours, machine hours. Now this one takes you back then to chapter what? If you remember then chapter 5. When we were dealing then with our manufacturing overheads, because we said on chapter 5, because manufacturing overheads are not physically traceable then to a product. That means you cannot say, okay, now these are the overheads for this particular product. So the best way then to allocate, to absorb the manufacturing overheads in a production, we use the absorption rate. That's why then on that chapter 5, you were calculating all those absorption rates. I'm sure then you still remember that. So then it takes you a little bit back there. Okay, can you be able then to make use of that? Can you calculate your predetermined? That is why again we call it a predetermined over absorption rate, because we do this then estimate before we start then the production. So that is why then, and again, the predetermined is before we start the production. And again, we use the estimated values. You don't use then the actual cost when you calculate your predetermined amount. I'm sure then Ms. Nongana did stress that, or did then I made mention then of that. If not, then I am. All right, then how are we going then to do that? Let's let me open up then where I'm going. So we said that the first one, if you go back then again to our question, compute the predetermined overhead absorption rate based on the following direct labor cost. So that's the first one. So this is then your direct labor cost. There it is, the direct labor cost. We have it there. So what is the formula? If you still remember then the formula, guys, then for to do then this calculation, we did mention it last year on chapter 5 that you take then your budgeted fixed manufacturing overheads, then you divide it by your base, depending then what your base is, but you'll divide it by your base. So these are my abbreviation. Now, if you look at this information, your budgeted manufacturing overheads or your budgeted factory overheads, as you can see then at the last sentence here, it says that the following are estimated figures for 2020. So we've got factory overheads. So in this factory overheads, it means that as your combination, you've got there then your variable and your fixed overheads. So this is your 60,000 that we are looking for. So this is then your budgeted manufacturing overheads, or else let's take it out then at this F, so that we don't have any confusion, and say that our formula is going to be your budgeted manufacturing overheads divided by. So our budgeted manufacturing overheads is 60,000 divided by your base. In this case, they said that your base must be your labor cost. That's going to be our first. When you look at the value of then our labor cost, you got your 80,000. So we'll divide here by 80,000. Then again, guys, and on chapter 5, we said that if then you take the cost divide by the number of units, you get what? Is there anyone who can still remember? If we take then the cost and divide by the units, your answer is going to be whatever value then per what?
Per cost.
Oh, okay, I can hear someone say that it's going to be, if it is 20 rand, it's 20 rand per cost. This is what I'm trying then to say, guys. If then we say then it was this 60,000 and we divide it by 10,000 units. So then whatever answer, if then your answer here, the answer then that you have, then it's going to be 6 rand. So we're going to 6 rand per watt, per unit. That's what I'm trying then to emphasize here. If again, for argument's sake, we've got this 60,000 divided by 20,000 labor hours. You were going then to say then to us, my answer is 3 rand per labor hour. Isn't it so? That's what I'm trying to refresh our minds about. Now look our case. We've got a rand amount divided by another rand amount. So what's going to be our answer? So 60 divided by 8, then it gives us 0.75. So is this 0.75 is 0.75. Anyone who can help us? Is 0.75 per watt. All right. If guys, then you divide a rand amount with another rand amount, you're going to be a percentage. Don't forget that. So in this case, then it's going to be 0.5 or 75%. So that's then our answer then for the first one. So this was it A, I think. Let's come back, guys. And this is then just a revision. Then the second one, they say now let's use then the labor hours. So once again, we've got the same formula then for OB. So it's the same amount because then your manufacturing overheads, your budgeted manufacturing overheads doesn't change. But what we're going to change now is the base because we're no longer basing then with the labor cost, but with the labor hours. So we go then to our information days, then our labor hours. We've got 12,000 hours. So we use then that 12,000 hours. Now you're supposed then to know the answer because we've already mentioned it in the example. Well, it's going to be 60,000. Then we divide by 12,000 hours. Then it gives us 5 rand per. Yes, 5 rand per labor hour. That will be then your answer. Then we move on then to requirement C. Requirement C, then I said, let's use what? They say, now let's take now the machine hours. If you look at requirement C, we're using then the machine hours. When you look at our machine hours, the budgeted one is 80,000. Be careful of that, guys, and don't get too excited and say, no, you've got this. Make sure then that if you are getting your predetermined overhead rate, you use the budgeted information. 60,000 once again. Then we divide then by the machine hours. They said that the machine hours is 8,000. Then your 60,000 divided then by your 8,000, then that gives you 7.50 rand per machine hour. So that's it then for then the number 1. And the question carries on, guys, and then to number 2, where they say now compute the cost of the following. Now they said let's calculate the cost of job number 211. if overheads absorbed based on the direct labor hours. Job 212, if overheads absorbed based on the direct labor hours. Then the 213, if overheads absorbed based on the machine hours. So we've got 211, 212, 213. And we can combine then at the job. So these are the jobs then that we're working out for their cost. So we start with direct material. Now you are no longer using the budgeted information, but you are coming then to the actual data then for the particular month. So this is then the jobs that we're looking at. Job number 211, 212, and 213. We've got 2,000 rands, 2,500, and 3,000 as the material cost. And lastly is 3,000. All right, sorry. Then we move on. We've got direct labor as our second element. Because, guys, then the minute we say to you, calculate the cost, in your mind, then you're supposed then to think of these three elements: direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overheads. Those are the elements that are supposed then to come then into your mind. Now we look at the direct labor. Direct labor is 1,000. It's going to be 1,380, 1,408, 1,512. So those are the costs that we have. So we say that here, then we've got 1,380, 1,408, and 1,512. Then the last one will be your manufacturing overheads. Now we've got methods that they say that let's use for this job. So if we look at job 211, they said that on job 211, if overheads absorbed based on the direct labor cost, you've already calculated your absorption rate. This is then your absorption rate per labor cost. You know that is going to be 75%. So what you need then to go do, you go then to the labor cost of job number 211. Are you with me? So we go to that job and we said, okay, we are going then to take the labor cost, that is 1,380, multiply it by the percentage that we have then from our calculation, that is 75%. So 1,380 times and then 75%. Then that will give you 1,035. That's how then you get to know your manufacturing overheads for job number 211. I hope then that is clear. Now we move on then to job number 212. They say job 212, if overheads absorbed based on direct labor hours. Now we use direct labor hours on job 212. You've got then your base already based on the labor hours. That is going to be 5 rand. Now, can you see then the importance of then what I was saying then to you guys and that you need then to know, okay, is 5 rand per watt, is 5 rand per labor hour. So that needs then to be in your mind. So labor hour. So you said like, okay, I do know the rate. Okay, it's 5 rand, but the question is for how many hours? Because I've got the rate that okay for this particular job, then it's going to be 5 rand, but times now the number of hours. Go back then to your information and look at your hours. Now we're on job 212. Remember, there is the labor hours on this job is 204. So we'll multiply then by the 204, which is the labor hours of job number 212. I hope then everyone is still following me. And now the manufacturing overheads then for this job will be 1,020. Then for the last job, 213. They say that okay, then on that job, we'll do the calculation if overheads are absorbed based on machine hours. Using the machine hours now. We don't have a problem then with that again, because if you look at your first calculation, you did work out then your absorption rate per machine hours. There is your absorption rate per machine hour. You've got 7.50 rand. So you said, okay, I do have then my 7.50 rand, but now times the machine hours. So you could see that this needs you guys to be alert. So we go to the machine hours of job 213. Here is our machine hours. We've got 70 as our machine hours. There's your machine hours. Go in there, times then by your 70. Your 750 by 70, then that gives us 525. Now, can you imagine, guys, and if then you've made then some mistakes then in your first calculations, in your absorption rate, that absorption rate, if it's wrong, it's going then to spoil then calculation then on number 2. Again, then you'll end up having wrong calculations. And unfortunately, then I don't have mercy then for that. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Especially now when we write then our assessment through then online, where it is in a form of multiple choice, where I'll see your calculations. I only said if you think then what is wrong, you are wrong, everything. So that's the sad part of things. Not unless then your tests are going to be venue based, then be lucky then, because you'll show me then how did you arrive to your calculation. So let's work out then our total cost. For job then at 211, we've got 4,415. For job 212, my side then I've got 4,928. For the last one, it gives then us 5,037. And we're done. Is that clear then to everyone? I hope so. So then the next tutorial exercise, you do have then the second one, which then I would love you then to have an attempt. Then Friday, we'll go through then this tutorial number 2. And the third one, I don't know why it said 5. So we'll look at other tutorials then again. Just then I have an attempt then on your own and see if then you can be able to calculate then these tutorials. But then this is where then we end our today's session. Thank you so much then for attending. I could see then the attendance is not bad at all. I think then in total we are 100 and something. You can see then we are 55 in attendance. So we are plus minus there. So let's keep on coming to the class, guys, and as much as we can. That's going to make things then very easy or interactive. Then also, if you've got anything then that you don't understand, you can even then use then our Teams, guys, then to ask any question then that you are not clear with. Then just type then your message in there. If you want me then to check if then you are correct or not, you can also then post then on Teams. I'll be able then to view it and assist you. I'm still going to talk then to your class reps and see if then can't I also be part of the WhatsApp groups then that we have. That will also be of assistance then to you in terms of reaching each other. This is where then we end our today's session.
Sorry, sir.
Thank you so much for attending. Yes.
Abantwana be-accountancy bayabuza ubana bona bangena kweyiphi group.
For cost accounting.
Yes, sir.
By accountants, so it means that this is auditing. Okay.
Ewe babuze kum, yeah.
Okay.
Ankuva.
I see then my message then on Teams, because then we are just one group then for cost accounting. We are attending cost accounting then as a group, all of us, irrespective of whether we are doing all.
Okay, so ke kunba at the Pakla group at internal auditing.
I won't then advise you then to do so, because you may have then the different some of the classes then, or some of the message that doesn't talk then to them. So the best then Leander, I think it will be good then if then they've got their own group, then I would love then on my side if I can have then accountancy group here auditing bias and extended, so that if I'm sharing information via WhatsApp, I'll send then to all groups. But when it comes then to our cost accounting class, we will meet as a group, as a collective.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Let me stop the recording. Thank you so much.